The first time I saw the armor, it was hanging in the dead center of the salvage bay like a suspended corpse. The bay's overhead lights flickered in rhythmic pulses, illuminating plates of gunmetal alloy stitched together with biocircuit sinew. It wasn't standard-issue military gear, nor corporate exoshell tech. It looked grown, cultivated. The surface shimmered faintly, as if breathing. I was 3 days into a contract on the edge of the ash belt, stripping derelict war hulks for any tech still worth selling. The job was quiet. Too quiet. Most crews avoided this region. Battlefield graveyards always attracted scavengers, mercenaries, and worse things that didn't file flight plans. But my ship, the Vagrant Star, needed credits. I needed distance. From memories. From ghosts. I approached the armor slowly. My boots clanged against the steel floor, echoing through the hollow bay. The suit stood at full human height, shaped to fit someone athletic, lean, graceful. The helmet's faceplate was smooth, seamless, almost beautiful. No visor. No breathing ports. It shouldn't have unsettled me. Yet my pulse picked up. Something about the armor tugged at me, like a familiar melody heard through walls. "Find anything good, Rhea?" came a voice from behind. Jax, my engineer, leaned against the doorway, wiping grease from his hands. His eyes lit up at the sight of the armor.
Whoa.
That's premium scrap. Or maybe black market military salvage. Either way, payday. "Don't touch it," I said, sharper than I intended. He raised an eyebrow. "Okay, Captain. Just saying, it's rare tech." "You all right?" I wasn't, but I didn't know why. "Give me a few minutes," I said. "Then we'll log it." Jax shrugged and left. The door hissed shut, sealing me alone with the armor. I circled it. On the back plate, partially obscured by grime, was a symbol burned into the metal. A small crescent. Inside it, a star. My breath caught, because I knew that mark. I had traced it with my fingertip countless nights. I had kissed it once, on skin instead of steel. I had watched it glow softly beneath moonlight on a world that no longer existed on any public star map. It was my lover's mark. Lysander's mark. And Lysander had died 5 years ago. Memory hit like a decompression blast. We had met on Virelia Station, when I still flew for the Colonial Courier Corps. He was a xenobiologist, quiet, curious, with eyes that reflected nebulae when he talked about life beyond Earth's blueprint. He had shown me the tattoo one evening on a balcony overlooking the station's artificial sunrise. "It's not just decoration," he had said. "It's a vow. My people use it to signify a bonded soul."
I had laughed.
"Your people? You mean humans with better romance?" He had smiled, that small mysterious smile. "Not exactly." He never finished explaining. We were interrupted by alarms. Later by assignments. Later by war. And then one day, Lysander was simply gone. Official reports said his research vessel vanished in the opening hours of the Ion Rift conflict. No wreckage recovered. Presumed lost with all hands. I had mourned him. I had burned every message. I had left the Courier Corps. I had run. Now his mark was carved into armor, hanging in a graveyard ship. I placed my hand against the cold metal. The armor pulsed. Not light. Not heat. Something deeper. A whisper through bone. "Rhea." I stumbled back. The voice wasn't sound. It was thought. Emotion. Familiar as breath. "No," I whispered. "This isn't possible." The armor moved. Joints flexed silently. The helmet turned toward me, though there were no visible eyes. The bay lights flickered harder, dimming to a twilight gloom.
"Rhea."
"You came." I swallowed. My heart hammered. Fear and longing collided until I could barely stand. Lysander. My voice shook. If this is some trick. Not a trick. Not anymore. A panel opened in the armor's chest. Inside was not machinery, not wiring, but something like organic crystal tissue. And at its center, pulsing faintly, was a fragment of brain matter, suspended in fluid. Human brain matter.
His.
I watched you die, I whispered. The reports. They never found my body, because there was no body left to find. Images flashed across my mind, battlefields of burning ships, bodies drifting in zero gravity, something vast and dark spreading through the void like ink in water. The war wasn't just between nations. It was an infection, something older than humanity, something that learned to wear us. I clutched my head as the vision stopped. You're saying this armor is you?
Part of me.
Enough to speak. Enough to remember. I wanted to laugh, to scream, to deny everything. Instead, I asked the only question that mattered. Are you alive? A pause. A sorrow. I don't know. Jax's pounding on the door snapped reality back. Captain? The bay scanners just lit up. That armor's drawing power from our reactor. I cursed under my breath. Lock the door, I shouted. And don't come in, Rhea. Do it. His footsteps retreated. The door sealed. Silence returned. You're in danger. Lysander's voice softened. This ship is still drifting toward the rift's edge. You don't have much time. What danger?
What are you not telling me?
Another wave of images. Stars dimming. Planets hollowed. Civilizations erased. A presence moving between systems, wearing stolen bodies like masks.
I was studying it.
The Devourer. It doesn't just consume matter. It copies life. Rebuilds it. Reuses it. I felt bile rise in my throat. You're saying that thing out there took you? It tried. But I refused it. I built this shell. A coffin. A prison. To keep it from wearing me. The armor stepped closer. But I can't hold it much longer. I backed up until my shoulders hit the bay wall. What happens when you can't? Then it will finish copying me. And it will know you. Because I never stopped loving you. The words struck deeper than any weapon. Tears blurred my vision. Lysander. I don't understand. What do you want from me? The armor knelt, bringing its smooth helmet level with my face. End this. Before I become something else. No, my voice broke. I just found you again. There has to be another way. There isn't. A final image bloomed in my mind. A control core deep within the derelict ship, linked to the armor's organic heart. A self-destruct system still functional. A single command would collapse the vessel into plasma. If you trigger the core, the Devourer's trace dies with me. You'll save others. I shook my head violently. I won't kill you. You already lost me once. Don't lose yourself trying to keep a ghost. Silence. I remembered the balcony. The sunrise. His hand in mine. The mark glowing faintly on his skin.
A vow.
Bonded souls. I realized then that this was his last act of love. And my final act had to answer it. I wiped my tears. I'll do it. The armor raised a hand. A gentle touch against my cheek. Metal colder than space, yet tender as memory. Thank you, Rhea. I ran. Through rusted corridors. Past drifting debris. Through a ship that groaned like a dying beast. The control core lay at the heart of the wreck, pulsing with unstable energy. My fingers flew over the console. Old military codes. Emergency protocols. The sequence Lysander had shown me in vision. Confirm core purge? Y/N. My hands trembled. I pressed Y. A timer began. 60 seconds. I turned and sprinted back toward the docking airlock. Jax was there, eyes wide. Captain, what the hell did you? Get to the ship.
Now.
He didn't argue. We sealed the hatch, detached, and the vagrant star shot away from the derelict just as alarms blared behind us. Through the viewport, the dead warship glowed white-hot, then collapsed inward, blooming into a silent flower of fire. I watched until nothing remained. Hours later, Jax handed me a mug of bitter synth coffee. We sat in the cockpit, stars drifting by. So, he said slowly, care to tell me why we just nuked a payday? I stared at the empty void where the wreck had been. Because it wasn't scrap, I said. It was a grave. He didn't press further. Jax was good like that. When he left, I opened my journal and drew a crescent and a star on the last page.
A vow.
Bonded souls. Somewhere in the vastness, Lysander's memory lingered only in me now. But the devourer had been denied him. Denied us. I thought it was just armor. But love, I had learned, could survive death, steel, and even the edge of extinction. And I would carry his mark forward, until the stars themselves burned out. 3 days later, the vagrant star drifted beyond the ash belt, engines quiet, crew silent. No one spoke of the incident. No one asked why our logs listed the derelict as contaminated hazard, destroyed by protocol. Jax accepted the answer I gave. Or pretended to. But I couldn't pretend. I stood alone in my quarters, the room lit by a single amber bulb. On the table before me lay a piece of metal no larger than a coin, all that remained of the armor. I had found it lodged in the cargo bay wall after the blast, still warm to the touch, still bearing the crescent star mark. It shouldn't have survived. Yet there it was. I traced the symbol with my thumb. A whisper brushed my mind. Not words. Not voice. Just presence. Warmth. Familiar. Then gone. I exhaled shakily and closed my hand around the fragment. Weeks passed. The galaxy moved on as it always did. New wars sparked. New discoveries bloomed. New tragedies filled the news feeds. But in fringe space, rumors began to circulate. Outposts reporting strange signals in abandoned sectors. Ships hearing human voices through empty comm channels. A figure in silver armor seen walking across irradiated wastelands, vanishing when approached. Ghost stories. The kind spacers tell to keep themselves company in the dark. I told myself I didn't believe them. Yet every time I closed my eyes, I dreamed of a horizon of shattered stars and a silhouette standing against them, waiting. One night, the vagrant star's navigation console chimed on its own. No incoming transmission. No scheduled alert. Just coordinates. A single location beyond charted space. And beneath it, a symbol glowing softly on my display. A crescent. A star. My breath caught. I didn't tell Jax where we were going when I set the new course.
He didn't ask.
The engines roared. Stars stretched into lines. The ship leapt forward into the unknown. Some love stories don't end. Some promises refuse to die. And somewhere out there, in steel, in memory, or in something beyond both, Lysander was still waiting. So I went to find him.